What is going on, everybody? This is Ookla here with your Dead Space 2 review. Dead Space 2 picks up several years after the events of the first game. And just let me state that in no way do you need to play the first game to enjoy the second installment. While it does help if you play the first game by a vast amount, there is an option before you even ever start the second game to watch a video that catches you up on all the events that took place during the first game. Now, this is a feature that I love because a lot of the times when companies put out sequels, they just assume that you played the first one and that's why you're buying the second one. But with Dead Space 1 and the great reviews that it got, and Dead Space 2 had such a massive amount of hype behind it, I guarantee you that there were people buying the second game without ever even playing the first game. So, I just really enjoy this option, and it just, it allows people to just jump right in, understand what's going on, and just jump to the second one without having to ask other people what the hell happened, or go to a Wikipedia page and try and catch up on what happened in the first game. So I really enjoyed that. To start off with gameplay, Dead Space 2 is your typical FPS. You shoot stuff and you make it die. But one of my favorite things about this series is that headshots count for absolutely nothing. So all of the Counter-Strike skills and all your Modern Warfare skills are absolutely useless in this game. If all you know if all you know how to do is headshot things, you're really in a lot of trouble in this game. It Dead Space 2 brings a cool angle in that you have to shoot limbs off of necromorphs to keep them away from you and to put them down for good, because the necromorphs, they really do move fast. So you have to shoot the legs, you have to shoot the arms, and if you shoot off the head, guess what? They're gonna keep coming after you. And I typically aimed for the head because of all the other games I've been playing, and they still come after me. And then it takes a little while to adjust to it again, because this is, I played the first one, I should have known better, and even in the second one, you still catch me shooting for the head. But it's a great angle, and I love the twist to it because it's not just like headshot, move on, headshot, move on, headshot, move on. So I do have to mention that I do know it is necromorphs and not xenomorphs, and I think it's just bad memories from that awful, horribly awful, and recent Alien vs. Predator game, and I think I'm just having nightmares from it. But anyways, moving on. At Isaac's disposal is, along with that is the Kinesis module, which is where all the puzzles and all the platforming, as I, like to call it, happens. It's also a great weapon for pulling off the sword-like limbs of the necromorphs and propel them forward and use them like spears. And it's a great little touch. And even when you use the stasis, a lot of people are just like, oh, it's like Max Payne and slow mo makes it easy. It doesn't make it that easy because it is so limited. It is so very limited, and it only lasts for so long. You could put it on one, and then you have to deal with everything else, because it's never just, unless it's one of the little like mini boss sections, you're never just dealing in a one-on-one situation. So it's always like freeze one, deal with everything else, and then hopefully by the time you've killed that shit, then the stasis comes off. But sometimes you're lucky, sometimes you're not lucky. And I really just enjoy that you aren't Rambo in this game. Now, granted, I didn't use all the weapons at my disposal, but even when you do have those weapons, they come in such limited amount of ammo, and if you try and buy that ammo, it's crazy expensive too. So even if you get the most crazy powerful gun in the game, you're not going to have a lot of ammo for it. And the game really does a nice job of balancing that so that you can't just Rambo through the game. I really, I love I love this. I love the gameplay. I never get tired of shooting off limbs and stomping on heads and freaking punching things in this game with the pistol. I have to give the gameplay a 10 out of 10, because this just never gets boring. One of the best things I love about this game is the atmosphere. And if a score could go above a 10, I would give the atmosphere a 20. And wouldn't you be like, Ookla, why don't you just make it out of 20? No, that defeats the purpose. This gets a 20 out of 10. No game in recent memory, except for the original Dead Space, does atmosphere better. Nobody does. The guys over at Visceral Games know their stuff. The game picks up on a high note, and you are instantly pulled into Isaac's fear of the necromorphs as you're trying to escape in a freaking straitjacket. Not only do you feel helpless and like all you want to do is run away. And even though that's what they're telling you to do, and you're like, okay, I'm supposed to run away, like your mind is starting to panic, like where the frick do I go? And if you make a wrong turn down, the wrong hallway, like I did in my very first video, you're just like, oh my gosh, I'm so screwed. And it instantly sucks you into the game, which, is great for an atmosphere. And they just do it through, the music and the noises and the tension and everything that builds up. And on the note of the music is just insane. It's always in the right places, dropping in and out whenever the enemies are near or gone, and it just keeps you on your toes. You would assume that the music picks up when, the necromorphs are close by, or you're in the middle of a fight and it picks up, but it's not always like that. Sometimes it just picks up out of nowhere just to keep you on your toes. Sometimes it flat out just cuts out, and all you have left is your boots on the metal, or the weird bloody limb necromorph like stepping noise. And it everything about the music and the sound in this game is awesome. The constant whispering of Isaac's name in the wind, or I call it in the wind, so to speak, because it sounds like he would be in the wind. But and when his girlfriend's demonic voice takes over and she's talking to you, it sends chills down your spine every single time. And the progression from her voice just kind of being kind of demonic to like super demonic at the end, it's a nice touch, because you get the idea that Isaac is really losing his mind. Another great thing about the sound in this game is whenever you're in like the 0G or out in space, it really presents you with a feeling of actually being in a vacuum, because you can kind of hear the reverberation of the sound, but not really. I mean, when you think about that part where you're flying past all that crap with that huge laser beam to the right, and a big old piece of space junk flies into it and it blows up, all you hear is like, the propulsion and the kind of like initial kind of like boom on it, but nothing else. And all you hear is like that nothingness and Isaac's breath, which is a very, very nice touch. You're definitely doing yourself a disservice if you don't have at least like 5.1 surround sound at your house, like actual speakers or headphones that do it. I have both. I kind of splurge on my technology like that, but don't play this game with some crappy pair of iPhone headphones, or the in-ear buds that just suck. You will not be able to enjoy all the nice, neat little touches that this game offers you in the department of sound. Last but not least, we got to talk about the plot in this game, because the last game was more of a sole survivor, and you only had interactions with a couple of people, one being Isaac and the other being his like dead girlfriend, Nicole. And I believe, off the top of my head, there was like one other person in that game that you kind of dealt with, but really it was just, there was not a lot of interaction going on. This game definitely changes that, adds a lot more characters to deal with and a lot more interactions, and I freaking loved it. Every step of the way, I enjoyed every little bit of it. Any kind of expansion onto the story for a game, especially like Dead Space, I am so down for. I loved Ellie as a character, and I really enjoyed Strauss too. They didn't seem like typical arced characters, and they continued to provide tons of additional information and intrigue for the story. Their interactions with each other and just the way that they presented their dialogue was really well done, and I enjoyed every time they had a part in the game. And for the plot, Isaac's slowly loosening grip with reality is where this real story comes in. Because sometimes you just have to pause the game and process what the hell just happened. But it's in a good way. His constant battle with himself, or his ex-girlfriend's ghost, as I refer it to, is the high point of the game constantly. Towards the end, you pretty much see him hit his breaking point, where Nicole picks him up by his neck and throws him against the wall. And you know that he's doing it to himself, because like when she was trying to stab him with the needle, he kind of snaps out of it and realizes that one hand is holding the needle and the other hand is holding his hand back, and you just kind of imagine, how the hell did he just throw himself up against the wall like that, and how is he choking himself out? It's just crap like that for the story. Is just like, wow, this dude has gone from just kind of a physical manifestation of or his dead wife, girlfriend, whatever. I don't know what the heck she was. I'm sorry, I can't remember. But you know, to it's a physical manifestation again, but she's doing crazy crap to him, and it is just insane. Like at the end, I really was just like, I don't know what the heck just happened. I just know it was amazing, and I really enjoyed it. And plus, this is all going on with another outbreak on the ship. And it's like, not only is he having to deal with freaking necromorphs all over the place, having to kill them all over again, like, you wouldn't think the dude would have just been like, fuck it. Like, I already did this once. Are you kidding me? I have to do this again and I'm going crazy? Like, no, I'm out. I'm out. See ya. No, I'm out. But he's a stud. He is a stud. Yeah, you guys, I loved the story. It was impossibly awesome. You know, from the two different directors, the director at the university and the commander of the ship, both trying to, you know, will him towards what they want, but at the same time prevent him from doing whatever it was to prevent the outbreak and all that other crap. You know, it's just, we had about like 7 new characters in here, and I enjoyed every single one of them, you know, to the point where they died, which it was all of them except for 2. So, and by the way, I totally called the ending, and even though I could do that, like, who would have been like, okay, Ookla, like, you said she was going to come in Han Solo style and save him. Like, really? Is that what you were thinking? When you probably listened to that, you were like, Ookla, you're ridiculous. And then it happened. Like, that's the only thing I could have ever predicted for the storyline, and I gave that, like, a 2 out of 10 chance. So, you know, as you can tell, my excitement for reviewing this game, I loved this game. It's at the top of my list. Freaking, I may be a bit of a fanboy of the series, but this series is in that you have to freaking play this game of our current generation of games. There's just nothing else like it out there. So, in closing, I really can't say enough positives about this game. A lot of people didn't like their exploration of multiplayer, and I have to admit that it's kind of one of the downsides for me as well. Everything seems to need multiplayer these days, but Dead Space was trailblazing in the restructuring and redefining of the horror series, and it just didn't need this. Suffice to say, though, the single player is not affected one bit of the additional resources that they put into developing a multiplayer. If you have enough money but don't have this game, buy it. Play it now, and you will not be disappointed. It is the game of 2011, or it is the game for me of purchases for 2011. Like, I had to wait for this to go on sale because I'm kind of broke, but I mean, it is by far the best purchase I have made of 2011. It is the best game I have played of 2011, and I buy a lot of video games, and nothing even gets close to touching how great this game was put together. This game gets a 10 out of 10 from me. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It gets a 10 out of 10. It's my game of the year, and it was just absolutely amazing, and I enjoyed every single second of this game, and I'm probably going to do a couple more playthroughs. This game has a massively high replayability with, you know, with the New Game Plus and Hardcore mode, and it continues to offer you new things to do in the storyline, or not in the storyline, I'm sorry, in the gameplay, and it just continues to press on you with difficulty after you beat the game the first time. So if you don't have it, go buy this game. Go rent it if you're on a console. It doesn't matter. This is my 2011 game of the year by far. And I know things like Diablo 3 and like Torchlight 2 and even the StarCraft expansion may even land sometime this year. No, it doesn't matter. This game sets itself apart from everything else, and it does it amazingly well. So that is my Dead Space 2 review, everyone. I really hope you enjoyed watching the gameplay, and if you didn't, you could tell me I suck later, but go buy this game, go play this game, and tell me what you thought about it, because I love this game, and I cannot... There's a void in my heart until Dead Space 3 comes out. Really. There is a little void, just a little circle in my heart that it can only be filled now by Dead Space 3. I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.